ahead and make what we call albondigas en chipotle, and that's meatballs with the chipotle sauce. This is not the traditional albondigas that everybody knows. Usually when you say albondigas, you think of it as a soup, but that's mostly in the northern part of Mexico. From the south on, we use it in the chipotle sauce. Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and we're going to start also with the rice. We're going to go ahead and start making the rice first because that does take the longest than the actual albondigas. I like corn oil, so just put some corn oil in there. I always get my garlic heads and I like to peel them and store them in the refrigerator so that they can keep the flavor. So I'll put in my garlic in the oil. This way they can get nice and dark. Gives it a extra little flavor to the oil. So when you start frying your rice, it'll start doing, okay? Usually, my mother taught me that it's 1 handful of rice per person, but I'm one of those that have little hands. So I usually add 2 per person because the palm of my hand is smaller. Okay, so you need to find out if you have a small palm or a large palm, but it's usually that way of going. Okay, while this is heating up a little, we're gonna go get our fresh tomatoes, take our garlic with us. I like to cook. My mother taught us to cook everything with fresh ingredients. My tomatoes have been washed already, so I'm just going to go ahead and dice them. Okay, I'm going to get 1 garlic head, throw it in, get some onion, just throw this in. This is what we're going to make once we start with our rice. Get some of our tap water. Okay, our garlic, we can hear our garlic starting to sizzle here. So then we go ahead, get our rice. That's for 2 people. And then I cheat, so now I have a little spoon. That's for 3, 4. Okay. And to me, this is rice. To a lot of people, it's known as the Spanish rice, which is the red rice. So we're just going to toss it around so that it can cook. It needs to pan fry until it gets a little brown. Like I said, usually this takes the longest to simmer. So I usually like starting this off first. So by the time I get my albondigas going, my rice is almost done. Almost done. So I'm going to go ahead and blend my tomato, my onion, and my garlic. Just blend it for a bit. Okay, so that's ready. So when my rice is completed, I can go ahead and just add it in. Doesn't give it the rice that red as you would with the tomato sauce. You can also use tomato sauce if it's easier for you. I find fresh tomato gives it a better flavor. Go ahead, add in the water. A little bit more water. And then we also add the Knorr chicken broth in powder. I usually have a tablespoon already in my can of Knorr. So I just sprinkle in some, maybe 1.5 spoons. I blend it, I mix it in into the rice. Okay. My mom taught us that once the rice started cooking, you're not to move it because then it becomes mushy. So once you finish stirring in your powdered Knorr chicken broth, and it's all there, you leave it and it's starting to cook. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the albondigas. You can go ahead and do 2 pounds of ground beef, depending on how many albondigas you're going to want. And you do 1 raw egg and a mixture of seasoning, breaded breadcrumbs. Sorry. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and mix it. Our albondigas once we're doing the albondigas, we put in hard-boiled egg. Okay, that's to give it an extra little. You can either put cooked rice in the albondigas when you're mixing it, or you could even put pieces of chicharrón, which are the pork rinds. Okay, and that'll help with the consistency. And our albondigas are big, they're not little, so with 2 albondigas that would be plenty. Okay, go ahead and get a plate so I can put my albondigas on there. I already have my eggs boiled and peeled, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut them. Do them into 8s. Okay, so we're going to get a nice handful of the ground beef. We're going to get a piece of the of the hard-boiled egg, I'm sorry, and we're just going to make it into a big meatball. This is the albondiga. Okay, see, our albondigas aren't like the ones from the soup that everyone's used to eating, which are tiny little marbles. Okay, sometimes they come out bigger than others. And this just gives it an extra little zing when you're eating your albondigas. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start. All our albondigas have been made. They're all put aside. So we're going to get a nice pot. Once again, get our oil. Drizzle, put enough to cover the bottom of the base of the pot. Okay, so you're going to turn on your stove. And right now, you're going to slice some onion. This is going to go on the bottom of, just to also give flavor to your oil. And so when you start cooking okay, you need to saute that a little before we start cooking. And then we're going to go ahead, once again, my tomatoes have been washed. I'm going to make more tomato sauce here, fresh tomato sauce. You need your onion and your garlic. Get a couple of garlic cloves there. And then your onion. You just need to cut some off. Okay, and then because this is in a chipotle sauce, you get your chipotles. If you want it really spicy, you get, you can blend in your chipotle. You just grab one whole chile, throw it in there into your water. Let me check my onions, make sure they don't burn here. Just saute them a little. They're getting to the point where you want them. They're not as translucent yet. Okay, so we'll go ahead and gives us time to come back, do our water for our tomato sauce here, our fresh tomato sauce. You really need to try fresh tomatoes when you're cooking a lot of Mexican food. It really enhances the flavor instead of using the canned tomato sauce. Okay, our onions are perfect, so we're just going to pour it in, our sauce, stir it a little. We're going to get our nor again, our chicken bouillon and powder base. This time, I want to say 2.5. Mix it, stir it in well. And if you can see, our rice is simmering nicely. This way it'll be done almost about the same time our albondigas will be. Then taste it just to make sure. Nice. What you can also do is get a little of the broth from your chipotles and just add it in to the sauce. Okay? If you're wondering about the chipotles, you could get La Costeña chipotles. They have a smaller can than this. Take it out. You're not going to use all of the can. You can put it in the container and refrigerate it. They do have a long shelf life. Make sure you don't contaminate it with so many spoons. My mom taught us that for the chilies and everything, we always use wooden spoons, if you noticed. Okay? So you can, I know it's a little difficult to find some here, but you can find them in the Mexican markets. Okay? So we're going to let that simmer just a little bit before we actually add in our albondigas. So you just get your meatballs and you just gently place them in. You just drop them in. If you notice, our rice is almost done. You're going to let them simmer for 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes on a medium high. Okay, the rice is almost done. At this time, we can go ahead and just move it just very little, just to see how much water we still have in there. Okay, so we don't blend it or mix it. See, just very little. There's very little bit of water that needs to be done. Okay. The albondigas are almost done. We have our comal turned on, which is the grill. It's my comal. My dad made this at work. It's a cast iron grill, and we go ahead and we use our tortillas. So when we serve our rice and our albondigas, we also have our tortillas.